I'm going to be going over the image generator and all of its aspects. So you have a couple options here. You have text to image, and upscale image. Text to image is what I'm going over today. Image to image just can be able to change aspects of an image you already have. And you can, for example, change, I don't want the trees in the background, remove the trees. And upscaling the images can be about improving the quality of that image. And so you can also change the aspect ratio here to, this is the default here. It's going to be a square because the height and the width are the same. But I started out on image number 3 and I just said, I want a picture of a dog. And this is what it looked like. Without any of the advanced settings, I just got returned a picture of a dog. And I wanted something a little bit more in depth than this. So if we scroll out and we look at the advanced settings, I went through and added each one of these one at a time. So I said, I want a small puppy and its owner. And because I was more specific about the subject, I was able to get a more specific subject, going to be the center of the image. The environment is going to be the background and the setting that they're in, and it's going to change other aspects of it. For example, now the trees are more prominent in the next image where I added this. In the next image, I wanted to change the lighting, the tone, and just the feel of the image. And so because of that, the lighting is more deliberate and more specific to show on the subject. And then next, I want to change the view. And here you can change point of view and perspective. I wasn't very specific, but I was able to get this image, which is a little slightly more angled up. And then the style is something that's extremely important because that's how your image is going to look in the artistic style it's going to be in. And so I said I wanted in cartoonish style. Wasn't super specific, but I got a pretty good outcome. And then I wanted to say a negative prompt, which you can say, I don't want this in the image, which was no trees. And so I got no trees, but I don't know if this is exactly what I wanted. But I tried running it again and I got a little bit better image. So these are, you can be very specific with the image generator. If we want to tweak this even further, we can go into the, I would want to call them the advanced settings, but I guess they're the advanced settings. But you can go and tweak these things here. So you can change the system. We have 3 systems here, open sources and OpenAI. OpenAI uses DALL-E 3. You can't tweak it as much as Stability AI, which is why we keep that as the default. And the open sources are a little bit less specific as well. And then you can be able to use different engines. This is just the basic one, but these ones are a little bit more powerful, but take a little bit longer to run as well. So usually image generation takes a little bit, so I try to keep it on a simple version. This is the default here. Clip guidance, right? The default is none, but what it does is when you have it, it will read through your image and see if it matches your prompt and be able to get you closer to your prompt. If the image does not match your prompt, it will run the image again and you'll get a different image. The way image generators work is they sample other pieces of art and are able to stitch it together to create something new. The sampler is just changing where those samples are coming from. So right now we have it on auto, which I just think is the best setting. These are just going to slightly change where your samples are coming from. You can change the width here to be more specific to what you want. I don't see any need to change this for what we're doing right now, but depending on social media posts or what you're doing it for, you can change that. CFG has to do with the abstraction level of it. The lower you have the CFG, the more abstract it will be. The higher it will be less abstract and more specific. The steps process is, like I said, image generators, they stitch all of these things together into one image. So by doing that, it takes steps to get there. And so this is how many steps it's going to be. And so the more steps you have, the more specific it's going to be and more deliberate in its process of creating the image. With the image slider, you can dictate how strongly your input influences the final outcome of your image generation process. You can slide it towards either for weaker or stronger influence. And then your prompt weight has to do with how much the text you gave it, how is it going to weigh it against what the image it wants to create. All these controls here are just how specific do you want to be, or do you want it to be creative or new, or